Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to sew a bra. This tutorial is very easy. Everything is provided step by step on how to sew a bra. If you really want to know how to draft the pattern, I will definitely post the link at the end of this tutorial. But before we waste any time guys, please don't forget to subscribe and give this tutorial a good thumbs up. So let's get started. So guys, for this project we are going to need 2 rings and also 2 sliders, and then we are also going to need a bra channeling, even if it's going to be wireless, so we still need a bra channeling. Over here I've got my 1-inch elastic, and I've also have another elastic. This one has more stretch compared to the other one. And also I have a fabric over here. It actually is a one-way stretch. As you can see, the other side has no amount of stretch. Now I've already went ahead and I cut the upper cup on a material, as you can see, and also on the lower cup I went ahead and I cut 2 of these layers. So now I am going to take or remove 2 layers of the lower cup because I want it to have more stability. So what I'm going to do is to create the notch right at the center to make it easy for us to sew it or attach it onto the upper cup. So joining these two, I'm going to go ahead to the sewing machine and sew a straight stitch. So once we are done joining these two together, because it has the bottom part or the lower cup has 2 layers, I'm going to take another layer and place it right on top and sew a straight stitch also. So now we are done sewing the first cup of our bra. As you can see, all the seams are tucked in between the 2 layers at the bottom. So I'm just going to open up the layers and just remove the excess fabric so that it's not so bulky on the inside. And then turning it into the right side, I'm going to go ahead and do a top stitch. So basically you need to go and do a top straight stitch right on top of the seam. Now once you are done, this is how it will look. You want to go ahead and do the same thing onto the other cup. So guys, the next thing for this project is to attach the cups onto the cradle or the frame. So I'm going to create a center point right on the cup. You might as well go and create a notch so that it will be easy for us to attach the cups onto the cradle. We also need to identify the center point onto the frame and be able to attach the cup. Now I'm going to take my pins and pin all around it so that it will be easy for me to sew onto the machine. Once you're done pinning, go ahead and sew a straight stitch. So as for the band, I did cut it on a stretch material. Please make sure that your band is cut on a stretch. So I did also cut 2 layers of the band. So one I'm going to place it on top, right on the side, and the other one I'm going to place it right at the bottom. So basically it's going to sandwich the side of the frame. So as soon as you join the 2 band, you want to go ahead and pin this together and sew a straight stitch. Now that the band is attached onto the cradle, this is how it will look on the inside. So on the outside now, you want to go ahead right on the seam. You want to do a top straight stitch. Right on the seam, you want to go ahead and do a top straight stitch. Now that we are done attaching the band, it's time to attach the channeling. So as you can see, the channeling actually has a seam. It might be different from the one you have, but mine has a seam. So in order to attach the channeling onto the bra, we need to find the seam that is between the cradle and the cup. As you can see, the seam that is between the cradle and the cup, you want to take your channeling and place it where the cup is. And then make sure that when you sew the channeling, we sew it on top of the seam that is already there. I'm going to go ahead and pin my channeling down, then take it to the sewing machine. As you can see, this is how it is, and sew a straight stitch right on top of the seam that's already on the cups and the frame. So now it's time for us to attach the elastic. So this elastic that I'm using, it's a picot elastic, and I'm going to make sure that the waves are facing down, and the elastic has to be the same size as our underbust, right, or the waist part. So now what I'm going to do is take it to the sewing machine and use a zigzag stitch to sew this elastic, and please don't pull the elastic as you sew. So once we are done, we need to go ahead and cut out all the excess fabric so that it's neat on the inside. Now once you're done removing the fabric, go ahead and fold it in and sew a top zigzag stitch. And this is how it will look. Now the next thing we need to do is attach the elastic also on the armhole. So this is another elastic, the smaller one, to the 1 inch. I am going to sew it the same way like I sewed the bottom one, and this time we are going to pull the one around the armhole. Notice how I sew this one. I'm not pulling it too much, but just enough so that it can be comfortable around the armhole. So once you're done sewing it, make sure that you remove the excess fabric and then fold it in like you did with the bottom one and sew a top zigzag stitch. And this is how it turned out. Go ahead and do the same thing onto the other side. Now it's time to attach the elastic onto the neckline. So for the neckline, I'm going to use the same elastic I used on the armhole, but when you place it, please leave around 1 inch of elastic hanging. And then when we attach the elastic on the neckline, note guys, I am not pulling the elastic on the neckline. Don't pull the elastic on the neckline because it's going to create gaping. So make sure that you just place it straight to the fabric and then sew a zigzag stitch. So now once you're done sewing it, go ahead and cut the excess fabric, fold it in, and then sew a top zigzag stitch. So guys, we're going to take the ring and insert it on that piece of elastic we have left out hanging, and then we're going to do the same thing also to the other side. And when we are done, we want to take this to the sewing machine and sew a top straight stitch. And then once we are done, this is how it will look. Now we want to sew the channeling right at the bottom. As you can see, it's still lifting. So we want to go to the sewing machine and sew a straight stitch right on the edge. So guys, once we are done attaching our rings, it's time for us to arrange our strips. So over here I've got my strips. If you want to know the measurement of your strip, go ahead and measure on your old bra, then you will know how long your strip's supposed to be. So I took my sliders and I'm going to insert the strip right in between the two openings. And then when I'm done doing so, I'm going to go ahead to the sewing machine and sew a straight stitch. Now I'm going to take my strip and I am going to insert it. Make sure that your bra is facing the wrong side or the inside of your bra. Then I'm going to take the strip, pass it through the ring, and then when I'm done doing so, I'm going to pass the strip right in between the two openings. Now on our band, I am going to mark 2 inches from the band. I'm going to place the pin right there, and also on the top I'm just going to do the same thing, mark 2 inch. And then I'm going to take my strip and place it just next to the pins. Pin the strip down, and then when you're done, you want to take this strip straight to the sewing machine and sew a straight stitch right on top. As you can see, you want to take this to the sewing machine and sew a straight stitch right at the top and also at the bottom. Once we are done doing so on both sides, we now need to go ahead, guys, and attach our hook and eye, and our bra is almost done. I'm so excited to try it on. So we need to take your eyelet, because it has a hook and an eye. You need to take the part that has eyes, and then it has an opening right at the back, right, like so. They are different. So mine, it was more like a channel, so I had to cut it out. So you need to insert the bra band in between the opening of the eye. Then you need to pin it down. I like to sew it first before taking it into the machine, because it tends to move around. So you can either pin it or hand sew it at first. And then you need to take the hooks and do the same thing. Insert the hooks right in between the band. Now when you're done, take it into the sewing machine and sew a straight stitch on both sides. And then your bra is complete. I can't wait to show you guys how it looks on me. And there we go, guys. I really love the way it turned out, and this is how it sits on me. And of course, this is how it sits on the mannequin, guys. It's not the size, but then I really love the way it turned out and how it feels on me, and this is how it looks at the back. So guys, I hope you will enjoy making this project as much as I did. As for me, guys, see you on the next one.